Hey everybody, this is your man Type coming to you with another true spook story. Now, before I begin, I would like to ask that you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share me with those of your friends and family who want a nice, true, spooky story to listen to. Now, I must warn you guys that this story is gonna have a trigger warning, as you guys may cry. I'm gonna say you guys will cry. It's a very emotional story for me, so I'm gonna try to hold back my tears during the telling of this story. But feel free to have your tissues ready. Pause it right here and go get you some tissues, wet naps, or whatever you may need, because it is a tearjerker, but it's 100% true. Without further ado, this story takes place around by the time I had to be about 5 years old, no more than 5. And this story is about me, Tyke. So I was 5 years old. Uh, my mother, she was addicted to crack cocaine uh, during the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Uh, I was born in 78, therefore in 1982, 83, she was strung out on crack really bad. Her friends, a couple of my uncles. I mean, the epidemic was bad in the 80s in all the ghetto and poor communities, black, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, it doesn't matter. It was just a bad situation. Now, that doesn't excuse what my mom did or the things that transpired, but just to paint the story a little bit. So now I'm about 3, 4, no more than 5 years old. My mother, she had a habit of leaving us home by ourselves, um, myself and my 3 older siblings. Now my oldest sister is 6 years older than me. So if I'm about 4, she couldn't be no more than 10, 11. So she had the responsibility of maintaining the household, watching us while my mom and my auntie and my uncles or their boyfriends or whoever the hell came over that night was out partying, gallivanting, walking the street, hanging out in the crack dens. This is a little tough for me, y'all, so bear with me. So on one good night, my mother had went off. She had went out and she was doing her thing. And they had given me some rubber tussin or whatever to put me to sleep, thinking I would sleep through the night. And my brother and my sister, being young, hard-headed kids with no parental supervision, they was out late on the back porch, attempting to smoke cigarettes or what's weed. I don't know what the hell was going on. They had their friends over because all of our parents was virtually in the same boat in those days. And so I woke up in the middle of the night around by 1:32 in the morning, and I managed to open the front door and I walk outside. And as I'm walking outside, I'm walking around the neighborhood looking for my mother, crying to the neighbors. And sometimes neighbors would put me in their house and take me home the next morning. And when my mom all high laid out on the couch and shit, they would be like, "Hey, Pat, here go this boy. You need to stop doing the dumb shit," and that type of stuff. And at the time, my grandmother, she wasn't talking to my mother because my mother had got on drugs in 1980, and for 2, 3 years, this is what her life was. So my grandma was like, you're a fucking druggie, you're a fucking junkie, and you don't need to have them kids, and I don't want you out my life. I mean, I don't want you around me. You stay the fuck out my life. And she was just really hard. So my grandma wasn't there to support me or hang out with me. Well, this happened on several occasions. Over the course of 2, 3 years, this happened on several occasions. And the people had got so used to it, and nobody called Department of Children and Family, DCF, or anything, because we knew that those people would kind of tear up a family, and they knew that people needed help versus, chastising in those days, but neither came. So this one fateful night, my mom had told my sister and them they better watch me. Don't let Tyke leave his house. Don't let him do anything. Keep his ass close. So my brother and sister and them went and get the Robitussin like they always used to do, drug me up. So they hit me with the Robitussin. They put me in the tub, changed my diaper or something. I don't think I had a diaper on, but I probably was in my underoos. But I know I didn't have on any clothing. So they put me to sleep to make me take a bath, hit me with the Robitussin, put me to sleep. And again, I wake up in the middle of the night, around by 1, 2 in the morning, looking for mom, and mom is out gallivanting and stuff. So on this particular night, this is the night I met an angel. And again, this is a trigger warning. So I'm going to tell the story from my 4-year-old perspective. And I want you guys to really immerse yourself into this, because this is the time I met an angel. And I govern my lifestyle around this particular energy that saved my life that night. So throughout the day, as a young kid, I used to watch what my older brothers and mothers and my uncles would do. We lived downhill from the Tampa Avenue in Orlando, Florida, in the Orange Center, in the Sunset area of Orlando, about 2 blocks away from Camping World Stadium. It was called the Citrus Bowl at that time. But we lived downhill slope from the toll booth, the 408 toll ramp, right up in that area there. And I used to see, my uncle and the teens, they would go over there and they would walk up the hill, jump the little brick wall, and they would get the change from in front of the toll that the people had dropped from trying to throw the change in the toll booth. They would get the change and they would come down and they would have enough to buy them a pack of cigarettes, buy them a bottle of liquor, or, do whatever. We had enough. They did it all day long. They would have enough to even buy them some crack or some weed. So me being a young kid, I'm seeing this, and the only thing in my mind is I'm thinking that's where my mother is, because I didn't know at 4 years old that was a toll booth. I thought that was a path because they had cut a hole in the fence and everything, and this is where I saw multiple people going. So one night I wake up 1, 2 in the morning and I unlock the door, and again I'm going looking for my mother. Keep in mind, my mother is strung out on crack. She's out there doing her thing. And my sister and them ain't paying me no attention. They either sleep themselves or they're in the back, on the back porch fucking off. So I walk out the door and I'm stumbling up the road, and I had the bright idea at 4 years old that my mother would be up this hill, across this expressway, and there I would find my mother. Well, my 4-year-old ass crossed the street, crossed through Mrs. Smith's backyard, went through the gate, and I'm climbing up this hill, and I'm gonna stop right there. And as I'm climbing up this hill, only thing I can imagine is I'm struggling, I'm fighting, and the hill seemed to be so tall, but I knew in my heart my mission was to get to the top of that hill, that I would see my mother. And she would be in a glorious situation. She would run and give me hugs and kisses. And as a child, this is what I thought. I just wanted my mother. So I climbed that hill, and I climbed the hill and I get to the brick wall. And I was strong enough to pull myself over the brick wall. Now, people, this is an expressway. Cars are doing a minimum of 45, 50 miles per hour. So my life could have been ended right there the first time I climbed that wall. But lo and behold, there was this white guy. And I'm going to tell it slow because it's very sensitive to me. And you guys will know why. Again, this is a very much a trigger warning video. Well, conversation. So this white guy pulls up, and I can remember the car now. I didn't know what type it was, but when I think back, it was a beige Chrysler LeBaron convertible. That's the closest my memory can get it. I remember the Chrysler sign. Beige Chrysler LeBaron convertible. And he was driving, and he happened to stop to put change in the box. And he saw me there, and I was standing by the toll booth crying. Here it is, a young black child, mother strung out on crack, unsupervised, on a highway. Can you say traffic, kidnapped, and whatever the hell else that can possibly happen? Any unseen, unprofound thing could have happened to me at that time. Well, lo and behold, this guy driving that beige Chrysler LeBaron convertible thought it not robbery in his heart to stop. And when he stopped, hey, little boy, are you lost? I say, yes, sir. He asked me, what are you doing out here? I say, I'm looking for my mom. And he was like, where do you live? So keep in mind, if you just turned your shoulder to the left or to the right, you can see the duplex, the little set of scatter sites of duplex projects that we lived in, literally right down. I say, I live right there. And he said, come on, get in this car. Let me take you to your house. I'm 4 years old, people. Thank God this man had the decency of God, the universe source, son of a decent human being. Because I could have been lost, dead, and destroyed by now. So I get in his car, and he exits off the Tampa ramp, Tampa Avenue. And when you exit off the Tampa Avenue, you have the choice to go left, which will take you to the Orange Blossom Trail, or you can go right, which will take you down. It would take you down take you to Dollins Avenue into Orange Center Boulevard in that area. Well, he saw where I pointed, and he took me back home. So he's driving through the neighborhood real slow. Then he pulls over. So he say, come on, man, get out the car. And he's being real nice and polite. And he say, which one of these apartments are yours? So I stumbled up there, walked up there to him. I know I'm wearing underoos or something. I walk up to the door, and this one, and he twisted the knob, and the door was still open. But he didn't walk in with me. So he knocks on the door, bang, 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 bang. My sister and them come to the door and say, it's some white man at the door. So they was like, oh shit. You can hear him cursing and stuff. So then they say, yes, sir, through the window. And he was like, hey, I got your little brother right here. He says he's looking for his mom. Is your mom home? And they like, no, she at church. And that was the story we were supposed to tell. She was at an all-night revival. If the cops or DCF ever came to the house, she was at an all-night revival. So my sister like, no, she at church. She at a revival. When she left us here, I'm 13. Keep in mind, my sister was 11 or 10 or 11. I'm 13, so I can legally watch him. So it's okay. You can come in and drop him off. So I'm pretty sure that the guy knew something was up and something was wrong, because he just had that energy like, this is a bad situation for this kid. And so he opens the door and he lets me walk in, and my brother like, ooh, I'm gonna beat you up, you fat boy, you water balloon. He was whispering that type of stuff to me, and I'm 3, 4 years old. Because my family, they bullied me a lot. Because I was a portly kid, and that's kind of why I have a trouble with my weight right now, good people. I'm full of transparency on this bitch. So, before he got ready to leave, he said, hey, can I just talk to Tyke right quick? Because he had started giving me the name Tyke. He had called me Tyke, and then 3 or 4 other people in my lifetime nicknamed me Tyke that didn't even know each other, so that nickname stuck. He said, can I talk to the Tyke right quick? And then now my sister's like, Tyke, Mr. Man want to see you. So I walk back out the room. Yes, sir. And people, this part makes me cry. So I'm going to hold it in right now. But I want you guys to see, to hear this. So he calls me outside, and he has Jolly Ranchers in his pocket. And it was an apple Jolly Rancher, and I love apple Jolly Ranchers to this day, people. And he reaches in his pocket and he gives me an apple Jolly Rancher. And I said, oh, thank you. And I'm happy he gave me the candy. And so he gives me the apple Jolly Rancher. I open it and I eat it, and I'm all happy. And he passed me on the head and rubbed my shoulder. And then he says, hey, where you going? I say, going to lay down. He said, talk with me for a little bit. And he goes in his pocket and he pulls out a cherry Jolly Rancher. And he eats it with me. Now, both of us, this darling of a man, this darling of a white man, is sitting on my porch on the ground with me, Indian style, sharing a Jolly Rancher with a kid he just found walking on the 408 looking for his crack-addicted mother. And he talked to me about my dreams, hopes, inspirations, and things of that nature. And he stayed there about 15, 20 minutes. So he got ready to go. He said, hey, Tyke, I'll be seeing you around. He said, so when you see me, it's okay to say hi. I said, yes, sir. And before I left, he said, hey, before you go here. And he gives me another Jolly Rancher. I hide, sit in my little underoos, and I go in the room, and I go back to sleep. And that's why I love apple green Jolly Ranchers to this day, y'all people. Side note. And so I wake up the next morning, and my mother and all my uncles are scrolled around on the floor, on the couch, from a night of binging on crack and drugs and whatever the hell else. And I see him, and I see my mom, and I walk in there and I give her a hug. Hey, Mom. And she wakes up and she instantly throws me to the ground and was like, boy, I owe you an ass whooping. You know better to leave my house. I say, I love you, Mom. I was looking for you. And then my brother and sister like, yeah, he had some white man bring him home. He could have got kidnapped or anything. He knew better to leave that house, and the blame was put on me, not the adults. So, fast forward a little bit. I'm in elementary school now. I'm going to Orange Center Elementary. And my mom, she's winging herself off crack now, because I'm in elementary school, kindergarten or so. So this is 1983. My mom is in rehab. She's getting help. I think the guy had helped her get help with the church or whatnot, he and his wife. And so now I'm in kindergarten, and the guy, he and his wife followed me those years, and he would show up to my elementary school. I was going to Orange Center Elementary, and he would show up, and he was at every award ceremony I ever been through. Never knew his name. To this day, I don't know him. He and his wife. And he would always, the teachers and the principal allow him to pull me out of class, and we would talk, and he would always give me a green Jolly Rancher. And his wife would always come and drop some brand new school clothes and shoes off to the school for me. And I would go home with a book bag full of school clothes, school supplies, and I never knew his name. And to this day, this guy is my angel, I think. And I'm getting a little emotional, but I'm finna draw it back, good people. So, every time he would visit me, he always had on the same clothes. He always had on those penny loafer style boat shoes. He always had on some blue jeans, some acid wash blue jeans. He always had on a button up, kind of greenish, kind of like stone wash green shirt. And he always would have on a fedora. And people, that's why I love fedoras to this day. I went and purchased the same exact fedora, the green one with the band around it. That's the same exact one from my memory that he had. And I wear that, and that's one of my most prized hats in my closet right now. And he would always visit. Now, that was a backstory to that, and keep that passion, that in mind, because I told you it was going to be a tear-jerking moment. I had to tough it out to get through that. Well, when I got about into first or the second grade, he stopped coming around. I didn't see him, and now I have a voice. I could ask him his name and things, and I wanted to talk to him, because he was my guardian angel. And he stopped coming around. So, time fades, memory fades, and I had forgotten all about him. I started getting into the mystical world. Spiritual world. Started hanging around grandma. They said I was born with a veil over my eyes and things because they had to give me a booster shot so my eyes can open up all the way, because my eyes was very closed and I just was looking through a slit. In the South, we call that being born with a veil over your eyes when you can't really see. So I was adapted to seeing spirits. Now, I'm older, first grade, second grade. I'm always wondering, where is this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy and his wife? I'm just looking. And I never saw the guy in waking life. So now, fast forward, in my teens, 16, 17, 18, doing my thing, learning how to meditate, back and forth through the Christian church and the Christian doors. And this is where it's going to get a little spooky, people. So as I'm learning to meditate, I used to always see this white guy who seemed familiar to me in my astral projections and in my visions. He will always have on the same clothes with the fedora hat and everything. And he will always be there anytime I went into the spiritual world or spiritual meditation, which he still is to this day. And he would always be there, and he would always wave, and he would give me instructions. He was like, I need you to go over there, Tyke, and I need you to come right back. Don't stay over there too long. Give yourself about 5 or 10 minutes. I'll be waiting right here when you get done. And in my astral projections and in my dreams and in my visions, he's always around. And I'm, yes, sir. And I'm just a happy little young boy. So I ended up he ended up teaching me how to navigate the astral plane throughout my adult life to this day. And I still don't know his name, but I know how he dressed. I know how he looked. People, I am 44 years old this year. And it's been 40 years, I can say. I'll say it's been 40 years since I met this man. And lately I've been having the strangest dreams that he is all over my house. He is all around my children. He is everywhere. So that's how it got spooky with me. But here is the real spooky part of this thing. My baby girl, she comes to me and she say, "Hey, Dad." I say, "Yes, baby girl." She says, "There's this white man standing in my room. He got a hat like yours in the closet." I say what?" She says, "Yeah, his hat, he got a hat just like yours in the closet. I thought it was you until I looked at him and he turned white." I say, "Okay, what is he in there doing? Is he messing with you? Is it a spook, a Hank, a ghost?" He say, "Only thing he doing is he keep telling me to go back to sleep, that he don't worry, he got me." And say he'll sit on the edge of my bed, and only thing he'll do is just sit Indian style, and he's eating candy. I say, "Candy?" And I'm kind of figuring out who it is. I say, "What kind of candy, baby?" He said, "It smelled like apples, like apple Jolly Ranchers, or apple," she said, "apple sour heads," or some shit like that. And I knew it was apple Jolly Rancher. And I said, "Oh, don't worry about him. He okay." And she would always say, "Dad, he in there now." So I try to go in the room and I try to see who he is. I'm trying to use my spirit eyes to see him, and I can't. I can't feel his energy and none of that, but I know he's around my house. So I say, "So where's he at now?" And she say, "I can see him just as plain as day." And my daughter, she's an artist. She knows how to draw. So she draws the guy's face. I kid you not, I can't. God damn it, I wish I would have kept her little folder before she took it to her mother's house. She sketches out the guy's face, and instantly it hit me. This is the same angel man that saved my life 40 years ago to the date. It's July, people. He saved my life 40 years ago to the date. And he's still protecting me and my family, my children, especially that little girl I got in that room. That's my baby girl, the only girl I got. And he's protecting her. So I don't know, was this a guardian angel? I don't know, was this a figment of my imagination? I don't know if this was a real human being that passed away and wanted to continue protecting such a soul as mine. But people, this guardian angel, this darling of a white man, is still around my house to this day. I see his shadows. I see his image when I walk down the hallway. He doesn't make any fuss. He doesn't cause any trouble. And he's always with my baby girl. So just like he protected me, he's keeping her out of harm's way too. I don't know what force of nature, I don't know what deity or whoever charged this man with protecting me, watching after me, but he is still doing his job. And I know he's passed because he was old then. So even in the spiritual world, and I'm tearing up again, y'all, so forgive me. It should have been a spooky story, but this is spiritual, I guess. Even in death, his spirit, his soul, think it's not robbery to make sure I'm maintained and that my baby girl is maintained too. And he has become her guardian angel. And she talks to him like he's a human, like he's a real flesh and blood human. And I don't say nothing because I know who it is and I know his intentions are good. I just wish to death I knew his name, because I would honor him and I would cherish him and I would thank him for saving my life, a 4-year-old boy walking the street looking for his, at that time, crack-addicted mother. I could have been kidnapped, raped, trafficked, murdered. Nobody would have known the light of it. little black boy strolling the neighborhood in the middle of the hood. Anything could have happened. And throughout my life after that situation, he physically came to the school and protected me, made sure I was okay. And now he's protecting my baby girl. And I don't tell her he's fake. I don't tell her to run. I don't tell her to dislike white folks. I don't tell her none of that. Because there's some good people in every culture. And that was my guardian angel who has trickled down, and now he's my daughter's guardian angel. And I still want to know his name. But yeah, everybody, that was a very real story, real touching story. And if my baby girl was here, she could describe him. And I'm going to try to get her art book when she comes back from the summer from her mother, and see, do she still have the picture, because she sketched him out. And I'm like, yeah, that's him. So she's seeing the exact same person with the exact same fedora. And that's why I wear those fedora hats, because I always like, man, that's all I remember. This guy with that hat, and it was the most loving feeling. And I keep a bag of Jolly Ranchers in my refrigerator, and I don't even eat sweets, y'all. So yeah, I could say this story probably wasn't spooky, but it was heartfelt with a little bit of mysticism in it. And I want to thank you all for listening to me and allowing me to relive that beautiful memory. I don't know how to end this, everybody. I'm just going to say I'm Tyke, telling you guys there's nothing to worry about, because when God got your best interest, nobody can fold it from you. Take care, everybody. God bless. Stay safe.